Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a 4th gen Honda Odyssey engine swap with the J35Z8. This will be a step-by-step comprehensive guide. The service and repair manual that I use as a guide and a reference will be provided in the description. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And just quickly before we begin, as always, I recommend watching the videos through completely just to make sure you know what you're up against, and go ahead and start spraying everything down with penetrating oil. I don't know about you, but every single bolt and nut and screw that I had to deal with was seized and rusted, and it just made the whole project a total nightmare.
Step one. Take all these off, this off, take this off, start removing the cowls, remove this cover, this. So the two weird ones, two different ones were for these, and then the inlet tube just pulls straight out. I'm gonna put a rag in there to cover that up. For these ones, take a flathead screwdriver. It's just a quick turn, quarter turn, loosens them right up. You can take this off. Next, I removed this coupler and separated it from back there. I'm gonna work on taking this off now. So go ahead and take off that screw on the hose clamp, that hose clamp down there, this hose clamp here. We got a bolt down there to take off, bolt here, and then it's connected down there as well. So that's got to be pulled off. That should let this whole thing out. Next, take off this coupler and this one back here. Okay, took the wheels off here, and it looks like the strut tower goes up behind this cowl, so we're gonna remove it. It should be one whole piece, so I'm gonna take these off, just gently push them down, like so. Looks like it just wiggles out. Which gives us access to these caps here. Just peel off. Take the windshield wipers off and take the cowl off. So take these off, push, they pull straight off, but you gotta push them down. So this, so that it comes out straight. They should just pull straight off. Tough to take off because it's cone shaped. So you just gotta wiggle it, hit it a little bit, loosen it up, and then just pull it off. You gotta squeeze those together. You pull up these, there's one on each side. There's also one in the middle here, and it slides out. So just fold these rubber flaps up behind the hinges for the hood on each side. And it should just pull out and then up and over the washer. You might have to clear this somehow, I don't know. I'm gonna figure that out. So next we're gonna legitimately discharge the AC lines. What you don't want to do is take a really long screwdriver and stick it in the hole and push that pin down much further. That's very bad to do, so you're not gonna do that.
So next I just plugged the holes there so no debris could fall in there, no critters could get up there, and then disconnected the power steering pump from the reservoir. You can see I made quite a mess. Make sure you cover up that belt because I ended up replacing it because of that, and make sure you clean up any of the oil that spills. So next we're going to be draining the engine oil. You got to replace the crush washer, I believe. Can't remember, it should be in the service manual. Just let the oil drain. I'm gonna start bleeding on the fluids now.
Remove all the clips on the bottom cover tray and then remove these 10mm screws.
Next, I drained the coolant by just disconnecting the lower rad hose. This isn't the proper way to do it. The proper way to do it is in your manual, or in the manual. Highly recommend following that procedure instead of mine.
Okay, once you get the coolant drained, we're going to disconnect this AC oil right here. Go ahead and loosen this up and disconnect it. Okay, afterwards disconnect these two hoses to your transmission fluid, power steering, transmission in and send and return line. Disconnect those, let them drain. Okay, next disconnect this coupler, cut the zip tie. Cut the zip tie here, cut this, and disconnect the coupler there. So next, we'll remove this piece by loosening these two bolts, taking them out, and then this just pops off too. And then you can remove this bolt and take this whole fuse box out. So once you got this off, push these tabs, pulls out, and then we're disconnecting. Next, there's 4 clips that you gotta undo. This one, this zip tie here, the tip of my finger, this one here, and that one down there. Go ahead and remove this wire harness, pair of needle nose, can reach it through here. And then this one as well, which I'm under here, I'll reach it with the needle nose. Next, remove that bolt. Loosen that bolt. Doesn't have to come out all the way. We got a bolt back down in here. And then there's another one under this cable here. It's all connected to this. You don't have to worry about that one. So this is where we're at. We just took out those 4 bolts. We got the battery base out. Solid. Next, we're going to remove the the shifter cable on the it's different between the 5 and the 6-speed transmissions. You're basically going to remove the cotter pin, which was sitting here, pulls out. It's kind of weirdly shaped, and then you can pry this pin out from this side, push it out, pull it out, and then that'll allow you to remove the shifter cable here. This is generally where it's located, under the battery. So this goes down. If I can push it down and then out for the 5-speed at least. So next we're going to remove this fuel line. I forgot to relieve the fuel pressure before I disconnected the battery. So these lines are going to have fuel in them, which I'm not looking forward to. Might have to remove the throttle body to get access to it. Yeah. I had a hard time with this one. So basically this is how it's on the car. This. Right, so it opens like this. There's these little tabs. So you gotta push this, the white part or the yellow part I guess, push it away from you and then pry it up, and it just kind of, come on. Then it just kind of pops open. This is also very difficult to do. That's what it looks like. So you squeeze the blue things together and then pull the fuel line straight off. Next, remove this hose from there, this connector, and this hose down here. Okay, so we're inside the car now. This plastic piece just comes off. Just pulled the carpet back. Fucking bitch to get out from back there. And then I think this just pulls out. That's what we're gonna find out here. Oh yeah, okay. Just pulls off, and there's 2 more behind there. Oh, the fuck. I don't think you actually need to take them off, to be honest. I think you can just get enough clearance. That's what you need. Okay, so the key's in the car. It's on accessory position 2, which allows us to turn the steering wheel to spin it until we can see this bolt. Okay, it's hard to see, but I put a little mark there with paint marker, and then I'm gonna take a wire, slip it through here, and hang up this piece onto something up here. I'll take just a wire so that it doesn't slide out. And then we're gonna take off this bolt here, the red one. This was terrible. 3 extensions on here. Adjustable here like that. It's just the worst thing I've dealt with a long time.
Next, we're going to be taking off the PCM cover, which is going to allow us to disconnect the wire harness from the body of the car and the engine. So taking a pick, I just pulled back the gray lever there, which unlocks the harness, and then you just separate it.
Next, to remove this exhaust pipe here. My shit was so fucked that I just decided to cut it. There's not even any bolt heads left. They're gone. There's one stripped. So I just cut it with a Sawzall and I'll weld it later. Put a little JB weld or something. So after that's off, you can go ahead and take these 4 screws off. Once that's off, there are 7 of these screws throughout the fender liner. You gotta remove those. So there's 1, 2, 3. On American models, there's 5 located here. On Canadian models, there's 3 located here. And then on both Canadian and American models, the other 2 are located there. Okay, so now you can remove these remaining 2 10 mils on the bottom. Both of mine were seized, so, naturally just broke the plastic. So they're staying in there, but they're free. And then afterwards, you can take out all the clips and repeat for the other side. So these 3 here are fucking terrible, so I just cut them with an X-Acto knife, cut the heads off. I'll order 3 more for each side. And then the rest of the clips are pretty straightforward. Just pop them out, pop out the center, and pull them out. There's 2 on the bottom, and 1 up there. Go ahead and drain the transmission fluid. Next, remove this bolt on the brake line and your 2 caliper caliper bracket bolts here, and then hang up your caliper. Do the same on both sides. Hang it up somewhere on the body. Probably gonna hang it up around this, out of the way of everything. So next, we're gonna remove the speed wire. So pinch these 2 things in and pull it out. And then same with the upper one. Pinch those 2 things in. And then you can disconnect the speed sensor. Okay, next we are removing this electrical connector here and the heat shield bolt right there. See that? There. The bolt's on the other side. I don't think it's necessary to do that, but the manual says to do that because I think they dropped the subframe before the motor. But we're going to drop it all together. I'm just taking that out as a precaution. Disconnect these 2 heater hoses and just zip tie them up to this so they're out of the way. And then you can just see down there, this hose has got to get disconnected. It's just ever so slightly in the way of the engine mount. I don't know what fluid is in it yet, but I'm just going to disconnect it right there just so that it has some play, so that way it can flex down as the engine mount on the tip of my index finger here. I guess this pipe is actually coming out, but you get the point. Next, remove the 2 bolts down here for the shift cable. Zip tie it up, get it out of the way. Be gentle with it, don't bend it excessively. Still a lot of slack here, it's not tight at all. So I don't want this to bend. And then, behind the caliper here, this blue, I think it's just a ground wire, but it's got to be disconnected here or here, doesn't matter, but it's connected to the frame and it's got to come off. Okay, next, these 2 hoses here got to get taken out. This one and one underneath it on my middle finger here. Just follow them both, connect there, these 2. Okay, so I just quickly removed the throttle body. It's just the one 5.5 millimeter bolt there, pulls off, and then you clamp it and pull it off at the same time with 2 hands, because it actually, the clamp can't get past this. This is because it was going to clip the brakes, and also I needed more clearance down to these 2 hoses. Okay, so on the passenger side, disconnect this coupler here, push that tab in, pull it out, and then you got this blue and this black tab here are holding the wire onto the subframe. Push those through, and then you got a zip tie. If you follow the line up there, just snip that, and then get the whole wire harness connector out of the way. Okay, one of the last final steps, disconnect this coupler here on the rear engine mount. And get that out of the way. That's pretty much looking like we are good to go. Next, remove the 3 14mm bolts, put a jack on the knuckle, jack it up a little bit, take all 3 bolts off, slowly release it, and then when you step on the brake, should be some play on both sides. Then, we currently have jack stands and wood underneath the subframe here, because we are going to, well, for one, it's sitting on the jack stands and the wood right now, so the car is no longer on the hoist. You can see here it's floating, it's sitting on the jack stands. Yeah, we're gonna start getting ready. I'm gonna take the engine mount bolts off here, these 2. And then I'm going to lift the hoist up so that the hoist is just ever so slightly taking the weight off of the vehicle weight off the subframe, the chassis weight off the subframe. And then I'm going to undo the subframe bolts. And then I will lift the vehicle up little by little, making sure I didn't miss anything. Fuck this, man. Come on. Then remove this 17 and the two 18s. So loosen them about half an inch, quarter inch. Fucking 5-foot breaker bar here. Fuck this.
So once you got all the subframe bolts out and the engine mount bolts out, pretty much good to just start lifting up the car and you know, just do your rounds, make sure it's not clipping on anything and that you disconnected everything as you're pulling it up little by little. And yeah, you should be good to go. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. In part 2, we'll be taking all the components off the engine, like the intake manifold, the power steering pump, AC compressor, putting it on the new motor, and then getting the new motor on the subframe and putting it back in the car. As always, it's your responsibility to do your due diligence and make sure that you did everything properly, because I could have missed a step or lost a video while I'm uploading it from my phone to my computer. Yeah, that's pretty much it.